Hey everyone, welcome to another travel vlog with Petite Happiness channel. Scotland is the place that we always wanted to visit, but when we finally got the chance, we could only spend up to 3 days. So, continue watching this video to see how we spent our 3 days in Scotland. Glasgow is the largest and most populous city in Scotland. Naturally, it offers lots of things to do, most of them being free, and also a good public transport network. Glasgow was the perfect entry point to Scotland for us, since the car rental prices were about 50% cheaper than in Edinburgh, and the Ryanair flight from Dublin to Glasgow was quite cheap too. To get to the city centre, we took the express bus service 500 run by First Bus. We bought return tickets on the app which costed £14 per person. And to get around the city, we purchased day travel tickets again from the First Bus app. Glasgow's bus network is serviced by many operators, so we could use our travel ticket only on buses run by First Bus. Glasgow also has underground or the subway network, but on our one day in Glasgow, we didn't find the need to use it. After dropping our bags at one of the baggage drop locations, we started exploring the city and stopped by George Square to enjoy our packed sandwiches. George Square is named after King George III and is home to the Glasgow City Council. The square also has several monuments and statues, including those of Sir Walter Scott and James Watt. We then headed to the Hunterian Museum, which is located inside the University of Glasgow. It is Scotland's oldest public museum and the entry is free. It houses over 1 million artifacts, including the mummified body of Lady Sheppenor. We heard some traditional Scottish music and found out that the graduation ceremony was on that day. After the museum, we went downstairs to the famous cloisters to feel some Harry Potter vibes, and the graduating students in black robes really gave us that Hogwarts feel. We walked along the Kelvingrove Park and arrived in front of the Kelvingrove Art Gallery and Museum, one of Scotland's popular attractions. The entrance is free, but we decided to skip it and headed to get some lunch. We stopped by Ranjit's Kitchen, which serves authentic Punjabi food, and the food was hearty and delicious. After lunch, the plan was to go to the Riverside Museum, but about halfway, we decided to skip that and did some quick shopping. We were really tired to do anything more, so we decided to check into our room and headed to the airport to pick up our rental car. We checked out from our room in Glasgow at 9 am and started our journey to the Highlands. The weather couldn't get any better than this. We drove along Loch Lomond, which is the largest lake in Scotland. After driving for about an hour and a half, we reached our first stop, which was the Inverary Castle. Inverary Castle was featured as Donegal Castle in Season 3 of Downton Abbey. My husband and I are fans of Downton Abbey, so we had to visit the castle during this trip. The present castle was built in the 18th century to replace an earlier 15th century castle. The castle has since been home to the Dukes of Argyll. After the self-guided tour of the castle, we had some quick lunch at the Castle Cafe. And after lunch, we spent some time walking in the gardens and discussing the Downton Abbey filming locations. We then continued our journey to Inverness. We initially wanted to drive on A82 and stop by Glencoe on the way to Inverness. Unfortunately, there was a crash on A82, so after a while, we had to drive back and take A828 instead. It was around 5 pm when we reached Loch Ness, second largest lake in Scotland. It was very late to get onto any of the cruise, so we only toured the Urquhart Castle. Located beside Loch Ness, Urquhart Castle played a prominent role in the wars of Scottish independence during the 14th century. Although it was a self-guided tour, there was plenty of information bullets explaining the history of the current castle ruins. We then spent some time wandering the streets of Inverness. We also did some grocery shopping here. We then headed to our accommodation, which was located 53 miles from Inverness. We were really tired of driving by this time and were thinking booking a place so far was a bad idea. But when we finally reached our place, we forgot all about our tiredness, for some time at least. Loch Shin luxury pods overlooked the stunning northern Highland landscapes, and although there were 3 other pods, we felt like we were the only ones staying here. The pods were comfortable enough to accommodate a small family. Our wonderful hosts also provided us with some fresh milk and eggs. The next morning, we enjoyed a coffee with a view of Highland cows as well as some red deers. We started to experience the real Scottish weather later on, so we had our breakfast indoors. We didn't want to leave this place soon, so we checked out a little late and then headed to our first stop in the Aviemore region. The Cairngorm reindeer herd is home to UK's only free-ranging reindeer herd. You can choose to take the guided hill trip to see and feed the reindeers, or choose to see a small number of reindeers in the paddocks like we did. We saw signs to the Highland Wildlife Park advertising a polar bear cub, so we decided to visit the park as well. And the cub didn't disappoint us. The sight of him taking dip after dip in the pool and running to wake up his sleeping mom was absolutely joy to watch. The wildlife park is spread out on 250 acres, so we had to walk quite a bit between different animal zones. And we were not spotting many animals anyway, so we drove for a bit and then headed towards Glasgow. On the way, we stopped for a break in a southern Highland town called Pitlochry. It's a beautiful town with rich history and lots of cute cafes and shops, and one of the prettiest railway stations we've seen so far. We loved Pitlochry so much that we decided to spend a day here on our next Scotland visit. We checked out the Pitlochry Dam and then headed to the Glasgow airport. Scotland is a stunning place and we'll definitely come back again to cover the things that we missed during this trip. Let us know your favorite places in Scotland and we'll add them to our list for next time. Do like and comment if you liked our video and subscribe to watch more videos from us in the future. Until then, bye and take care.